Like, subscribe, and share to our channels. That's Chief Holiday, Dan Calloway, A Consciousness One, Aboriginal TV, Jaguar Olmec, Aboriginal Power, so you can remain informed and updated on solutions here in America. Tomorrow is never too late. The future is now, and yesterday will never return. The future may be late, but it's always on time. You are now tuned in to the investigative, primordial, empirical research channel on YouTube, Lotus Television. I am your host, Mehide Barisankwana Tabaka Nguda, aka Emunrakati Mfotegum Dakonum Paramura Best, aka Emu Unrakati Adumia Juji. Also, Armuna Ekti1, yeah, y'all didn't know that was me, did you? Nkwanta Kwadwo, founder of the Black Lotus Civilization, live streaming for the benefit of our species and progress of our greatest grandchildren to come. What we are setting in motion for everyone is self-evident and profound. The fact that mind, manufacture, mass production will lead the way. Printed technology has taken 3MP beyond expectations. 3MP has and always was a plan to remove labor force by creating machines to handle our mining, manufacturing, and mass production. Honorable admiration to the Olmec Nation, the Aboriginal movement, here on Lotus Television. Now, I want to express some information that you might have noticed that I've been involved in, in many movements. As my abnormal critiques will say, I'm a person of many faces and many names. Well, here's the deal. I really have and always was what I am right now. I have always been a person for the people in my community. I have always supported my community. You can check my neighborhood, where I grew up. Find out for yourself. You'll get two sides. Those who are jealous and resentful or had a bad run-in with me, and those that you will receive information where you will be shocked and somewhat impressed. But this today is to share some very, very important information. Okay, bear with me that what really are we going to do about our current state? So I'm going to touch on a couple of things here. If you live in California, you will definitely understand this. If you live in other states, as far as the South, you might not have these issues. So what happens is we have until 2020 to get it together. Again, Vision 2020. Information is available for anyone to look up. By 2030, 3D printing, 4D printing is going to merge with CNC shops. Okay? When this merge happens, we will go through a process of a decade of change. We're going to go from the technology we have today to the technology that we've seen in movies. We will no longer need jobs that are dealing with food, public services, especially warehouse companies, jobs, establishments of restaurants will be rendered null and void of having a human handling money and handling food. A change in our currency is upon us, and many are not ready for it. What many did not know was when the credit card, debit card was invented, that was the first step in the change in our currency. So what I created was a plan for our people. Now, there's popular things to talk about. There's the controversial things to talk about. There's the conspiracy things to talk about. There's the conscious community things to talk about. And there's the cultural things to talk about. Let's remove all of these things and get to the important stuff. How we secure our greatest grandchildren. And that is this here. The objective here on Lotus Television is the Marasas da Kehe project. Major appliances, domestic appliances, small appliances, small domestic appliances, consumer electronics, and home electronics. Major appliances and domestic appliances, parts of real estate, large machines, housekeeping, cooking, laundry, food preservation, plumbing fixture, refrigerators and washers and dryers, small appliances and small domestic appliances, consumer electronics and home electronics are applied to semi-portable machines and portable machines, tabletops, countertops, platforms to establish household tasks, microwave oven, toasters, humidifiers, coffee maker, TVs, DVD players, video games, remote control machines, telephones, cell phones, computers, printers, and paper shredders. The introduction of industrial 3D and 4D printing machines will result in mass production of civilization. CNC, 3D, 4D machining, robotic machining replacing customer service, reducing mistakes of human contamination, and manual labor jobs becoming obsolete, resulting in a chance for species ecological reversion. The technology and nanotechnology, solar technology, electric, magnetic, and silica CO2 free energy is the future. The future may be late, like I said, but it's always on time. With the right motivational, innovative guidance, we can secure endless possibilities and explore countless practical applications by gathering all the minerals that have been mined and performing the process of bullying with efficient and advanced productivity before the task of geosurveying high-quality deposits of rich minerals. Now, we will go even further into geodynamic and biodynamic solutions to our species. It's time we question both the vegan and the meat eater, the believer and the atheist, the shaman, the Westerner, the Easterner. These questions, one to the vegan, one to the meat eater, one to the believer, one to the atheist, one to the shaman, one to the Westerner, and one to the Easterner. The question that I will bring before you today, and I categorize believer and shaman as the same, and the atheist, Westerner and Easterner as the same. And I question, if we are eating the right food, vegan and the meat eater, then what purpose does our bowel movement serve to the ecosystem? Believer, shaman, atheist, Westerner, Easterner, what knowledge have you physically brought? How have you physically benefited from the knowledge that you adhere to? And what can others practically use according to your belief and philosophy? I pose this question to these social ideologies that have been constructed to psychologically dominate, because in a world without ignoramus systems, we will not have a need to worry about these things or disassociate with someone because of the status quo. Our day will open that articulate side of the brain, creativity and innovations. We will have a positive outcome. I truly feel that movies portraying machines as evil, demonic device, and will end all human life or enslave all human life, thanks to our wonderful Sophia Stewart, we have been given insight into how we protect ourselves in that situation, ignoring what many have literally interjected, and that is a human emotion upon a lifeless object until animated. It has had too much theological jargon about the end of times, 666, mark of the beast, and now we can see what it literally is. That is the deception to render us innovatively helpless in the fields of engineering and technology, giving power over our destiny as a species, letting others manifest our destiny while they live oblivious to common existence. Legal tender has caused our species so much psychological damage, it's almost beyond repair. It's to the point we think we cannot function in a system without monetary notes. No need for a barter system when you have a 3D and 4D printing machine that can print something the size of a building to something the size of a plankton. No need for electric or water bills. They do not run on monetary note, and the minerals mined and shipped to a facility to manufacture also do not run on monetary note. These things will be done by machine. No more child labor and child slavery. See something you want? Print it. You should already have anything you can imagine, and anything you imagine will be possible. When oneself is ecologically established, psychologically at the same time, making the individual selfless, because the emotions of competition will be removed. The inability to progress as a species will come to an end. I can assure you this. Tomorrow is never too late. The future is now, and yesterday will never return. For those who chase and idolize historical characters, when 99% of them are mythological characters who never walked the face of the earth in any shape or form. Now, let's take a time and think about our elder, Baba Walter Williams, who mentioned to me repeatedly, many believe we are in the age of knowing. I find that very difficult to accept due to the fact of the matter. We are still carrying on in the opposite direction of our purpose to the ecosystem of the planet we live on today, and have yet to understand the mystery of many things. And I have to say that the confusion has overwhelmed a great deal of our planet. Rites of passage has become passé. We have secret societies openly expressing themselves in social media. Understanding the illusion of a paradigm shift and reality of a shifting paradox, in my adolescence, I wondered why we defecate, urinate, and sweat, resulting in my question to those who society have portrayed to be of authority without planetary authorization. And only the planet can authorize who lives in what location or not. What we call intelligence has fallen under a scrupulous paradox that has been mistaken for a paradigm and generated false philosophy while ignoring great achievements accomplished by those who would not reveal what gave them the titles such as the greatest scientists of his time or all time. One stands out and never receives recognition because the accomplishments will destroy the pseudo-history that Western and Eastern institution propagandize daily. But not only them, now we have spiritual cults and isms that are based upon Western and Eastern literature and philosophy. It does not stop there. We have traditional belief that mystify everything, creating the modern movements that rely on exposing the government or historical and recent events that many call conspiracy theories. Not to say anyone is completely wrong or right, but to explain it's all a distraction from the only picture that matters, that is mind, manufactured, and mass produced, and of course, ecological reversion. Now, I want everyone to think deeply within themselves. I want you to think. I want you to look at all animals. In fact, we'll just say fauna. We'll look at all fauna, whether it's a bird, animal that walks on land, or animals in the ocean, pond, river, lake, or stream. And understand that they serve an ecological purpose. What is our ecological purpose? Are we serving it? How do we get back to it? Why did we lose it? What happened? There is something we are not being told. And I'm telling you now, I stumbled across some of the things we're not being told, which led me further into the Gope Kobeho project, which is geodynamics, oceanography, primordial, ecological, consumer organics, biodynamic engineering, and holistic organics, which includes herbs, roots, algae, and tree bark. So my answer will result in what exactly are we to do with all that our body can accomplish, all of what purpose our waste has to serve the ecosystem. Now, bear with me. This is not an easy task. Let's deal with these words. Geodynamics refers to the process and processes by which mantle convection shapes and reshapes the earth. Its study includes plate tectonics, volcanism, the chemistry of lava and volcanic rocks, and geomagnetic anomalies, as well as a seismic investigation into the structure of the mantle. We're going to have to find out, what is this mantle? Then we go further into geothermal energy. Is heat energy generated and stored in the earth? The objective, geothermal objectives, which is from the Greek roots, meaning earth, and thermos, meaning hot. Earth's internal heat is thermal energy generated from frequency vibrations and continual heat loss from Earth's formation. You know what's very interesting before I go on to thermal conduction? That every single location on our planet that has nothing but ice and snow and caps, you will find volcanoes. Very interesting. In thermal conduction, often denoted, is the property of a material to conduct heat. It is evaluated primarily in terms of the Fourier's, that's right, the Fourier's law for heat conduction. Heat transfer occurs at a lower rate in materials of low thermal conductivity than in materials of high thermal conductivity. The thermodynamic process, defined by change in a system, which is called a thermodynamic process, is a passage of a thermodynamic system from an initial to a final state of thermodynamic equilibrium. The initial and final states are the defining elements of the process. Now, when we deal with the equilibrium, what is our equilibrium and what purpose does it serve to the ecosystem? How does our body find its reversion to be in tuned to just those two? Just those two. Now you have the adiabatic, or many might pronounce it adiabatic, or however it's pronounced. How, it doesn't really matter. The process in thermodynamics, in adiabatic process, in one that occurs without transfer of heat or matter between a thermodynamic system and its surroundings. In adiabatic process, energy is transferred to its surroundings only as work. Then we have volcanology, discipline of a geological science that is concerned with all aspects of volcanic phenomena. Volcanology deals with the formation, distribution, and classification of volcanoes, as well as with their structure and the kinds of materials ejected during an eruption, such as flows, lava, dust, ash, and volcanic gases, also known as pyroclastic. Then we have tectonic or tectonophysics, the branch of geophysics that deals with the forces that cause movement and deformation in the Earth's crust. We have to examine that and exactly what they're talking about, because plate tectonics and tectonophysics or tectonophysics are disciplines of earth science which describe the motion of the Earth's crust and the associated driving mechanisms of such motion. Petrology, oh boy, I love it. Scientific study of rocks that deals with their composition, texture, and structure, their occurrence and distribution, and their origin in relation to physiochemical conductions and geological processes. It is concerned with all three major types of rocks: igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. Crystallography or crystallography is the experimental science of determining the arrangement of atoms in crystalline solids. Again, we have to question that. what are atoms? They're not quite clear on really showing it, proving its existence. But we can just see the crystal structure before the development of X-ray diffraction crystallography. The study of crystals was based on physical measurements of their geometry. Oh, I love it. One of my favorites, oceanography, the scientific study of oceans, the life that inhabits them, and their physical characteristics include the depth and extent of ocean waters, their movement and chemical makeup, and the topography and composition of the ocean floors. Oceanography also includes ocean exploration, also called oceanology. Now, this is one that we have to pay close attention to, and that's oceanography. Now, ecosystems, the ecosystem dynamics, these biotic and abiotic components are linked together through nutrient cycles and energy flows, as ecosystems are defined by the network of interactions among organisms or between organisms and their environment. They can be of any size, but usually encompass specific limited spaces. Then you have to deal with ocean currents. An ocean current is any more or less permanent or continuous directed movement of ocean water that flows in one of the Earth's oceans. The currents are generated from the force acting upon the water, like the Earth's rotation. We have to question that one too. The wind, the temperature, and salinity differences, and, wait for it, gravitation of the moon, which we also have to question. Now we deal with waves. In physics, any regularly recurring event, such as surf coming in toward a beach, that can be thought of as a disturbance moving through a medium. Waves are characterized by wavelength, frequency, and the speed at which they move. Waves are found in many forms. Geophysical fluid dynamics is the study of a naturally occurring large-scale flow on Earth's. The applications of geophysical fluid dynamics do not generally include the circulation of the mantle, which is the subject of geodynamics, as mentioned before, or fluid phenomena in the magnetosphere. That is also under investigation and needs to be questioned. Plate tectonics, that's right, is the theory, again, theory that Earth's outer shell is divided into several plates that glide over the mantle, the rocky inner layer above the core. Must be questioned. The plates act like a hard and rigid shell compared to Earth's mantle. The lithosphere, very interesting how that's involved in plate tectonics, includes the crust and outer part of the mantle. All that is under investigation and we must question it. Seafloor geology, one of my favorites. Spreading is a process that occurs at mid-ocean ridges where new oceanic crust is formed thoroughly through volcanic activity and then gradually moves away from the ridge. Seafloor spreading helps explain continental drift in the theory of plate tectonics. Also under investigation. So then we have to deal with the flux. Many might be familiar with the flux capacitor, Back to the Future. In electromagnetism, flux is a scalar quantity, defined as the surface integral of the component of a vector field perpendicular to the surface at each point. World ocean. The world ocean, or global ocean, I'll call it planetary ocean, is a term used to define all the world's oceans as one big ocean. It is divided into 5 oceans, but they're all connected. These divisions are the Atlantic Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and Southern Ocean. What's the Southern Ocean? Astronomy, bear with me, is a study of the sun, moon, stars, planets, comets, gas, galaxies, dust, and other non-earthly bodies and phenomena. In curriculum for for students, NASA defines astronomy as simple, the study of stars, planets in space. That is definitely under investigation. Climatology, the scientific study of climates, including the causes and long-term effects of variation in regional and global climates. Climatology also studies how climate changes, down, hot, cold, low pressure, high pressure. It also studies how climate changes over time and is affected by human actions. Again, back to our ecological reversion. Find it very odd that we are not reverting back to our ecological purpose on our planet, yet we are affecting the planet in a negative way. To geography, a science that deals with the description, distribution, and interaction of the diverse physical, biological, and cultural features of the Earth's surface. Many are familiar with that already. Hydrology, that scientific study of the properties, distribution, and effects of water as a solid, a liquid, or a gas on the Earth's surface, in the soil, and underlying rocks. Also in the atmosphere. And that takes us to the blanket of gas on the surface of a planet or satellite. Interesting. The atmosphere of the Earth is roughly 80% nitrogen and 20% oxygen with traces of other gases. Wait a minute, what are these other gases? These other gases are in the ionosphere, stratosphere, and the troposphere. Paleoceanography, now this is very, very interesting, is the study of the history of the oceans and the geologic past with regard to circulation, chemistry, biology, geology, and patterns of sedimentation and biological productivity. That is also under investigation. Marine biology, another one of my favorites, is the scientific study of organisms that live in salt water. A marine biologist, something I tried to become myself in 2011 in Arkansas, Pine Bluff that is. So a marine biologist, by definition, is a person that studies or works with a saltwater organism or organisms. That is a fairly brief definition for a very general term, as marine biology encompasses many things. That's why I was so intrigued by becoming a marine biologist. In fact, I studied everything a marine biologist is to know. But I did not study the finances that a marine biologist needs to know. When I found out, didn't rub too well. So what I did was I learned everything first. Therefore, I can teach. Geochemical cycles. In earth science, a geochemical cycle, let me see. What is a geochemical cycle? Pathway that chemical elements take in the surface and crust of the earth. The term geochemical tells us that geological and chemical factors are all included. GOPE functions on two principles: volcano, ocean, tree, earth. Now, it's also connected to friction, fission, fusion, flora, and fauna. And that is what I call Vote 5F. That we make these the standard of understanding. Not politics, not cultural stuff, not anything. Not your latest social media entertainment, not the latest technology gadgets with the cell phone that you can access now by facial recognition. No, these are the important things. Kobeho connects all the teachings into practical applications, making one a master of existence and ecological potentiality, condition and purpose, circumstantial metamorphosis. Even in adaptation, both small and big, flora and fauna will seek reversion, indicating evolution is not plausible and a perversion of de rerum natura. No matter what, we die. But we are yet to question why. So, brothers and sisters of the species that I am a part of, bear with me as I take you on a journey through these projects. These projects are still in creation. They are still being critiqued. I would love anyone that has a positive opinion statement that's objective to help these projects. These projects are not for entertainment purposes. It's not for likes. It's not for popularity. It's not controversial. It is the only answer. So when it comes to 2MRO, with its maintenance repair overall, maintenance repair operations, and 3MP, which is mine, manufacture, and mass produce, the GOPE Kobeho project becomes primary. Now, I know most might wonder, what exactly am I talking about? We have spent so much time worrying about music, worrying about dressing, worrying about, are we this, are we that? We have so many worries in the wrong direction. But you know, one thing I do see, we don't have control. I personally want control. We don't have establishment of any foundation. All we have are a bunch of acronyms, bunch of social media movements and serious, frivolous, frolicking, fraternizing, fraudulent, characterizing conditions of a social construct of me against you, us against them, and we are not us. The confusion and delusion that we are suffering from is the result of us no longer serving our purpose to our planet's ecosystem. We are so worried about making so much money and buying so many things that we never tried to establish how they were made, to make them ourselves, to really empower ourselves. We can empower ourselves while the sun is up all night. When the sun goes down, you need light. Maybe we can, and I want to remove maybe, focus on controlling electricity, water. If we can start with these two things, control of our electricity, control of our water, then we can talk about having power. Now, in the preamble for the 5 steps to ecological reversion, we aim with participal circular primordial speciation. We provide the eco-friendly, biodynamic, geodynamic tools to function at our ecological primary. Keep in mind, primary. And this will restore balance to our ecosystems of all conditions. We have the insect world serving its purpose, with us tainting it. We have plant life serving its purpose, with us tainting it. We have animal life, rather be birds, fish, or things that walk on land. All these things we have tainted. So one is frequency, sound, and color. Then resulting back to maintenance, repair overall, maintenance, repair operations. That's knowing how to fix every single thing that we do, we use, we buy, we want, and we need. Mine, manufacture, and mass produce. That is grabbing real control. You can focus on the money, the promissory note. You can worry about that promise note. Or you can get in tune to the person who controls the plate and the person who prints the money. Do you want to be with the one who's printing the money? Or the one who's flashing the money that was printed? GDBD4, that's geodynamic, biodynamic, for us to get back to our purpose on this planet and to be in unison. I have a lot of questions, especially to those who are shaman, those cultures around the world. See, many think that our technology has taken us to new heights and lengths and all these other things. And then you have this other side that says that, oh, the original ways are the best. The one with nature and living in the jungle, or one with nature and living with the tribes and living a tribal lifestyle. What if I told you they're all wrong? Now, I really want to express my feelings towards many. So I will do it in a structured fashion. Okay, this structured fashion is, okay, one moment, you guys. The structured fashion is what I call what people say. All right, and that will be this summer. What I call it is good morning, wake up. And I say good morning for a reason. If you know what these words really mean, you definitely will understand what I am saying. Wake up. Now, you do need to be shaken. You need to be shook. You need to wake up. Somebody bang the gong over you. You can be wide awake and operating and thinking you're all fancy and fly with your cars, and you buy these houses that cost all this money. That took so much time to be built that you took no participation at all in building. You didn't lay a single finger for the copper that's in your house, single finger for the wood in your house, single finger for the paint in your house, the roofing, the windows. I can go on and on and on. But you take all this money and you buy these houses when 3D printing can print a house in 24 hours. Some even less. It took all that time to build that house that you have that costs $1 million or more. 75% less, a house can be built. Perfect for you and your family in 24 hours. You know, all you need is another 24 hours for a second story. You want to add more? 24 hours. You could have a whole college in a month. And it would cost less than gathering $4 million to go buy a university from someone. Good morning, wake up. So it will start with this, okay? Me, Lotus, on Lotus Television. It will start with a particular book that I want to bring out to the focus or the focal point of our people. The book is called Guns, Germs, and Steel, The Fates of Human Societies. When you come, I want you to empty your cup. All that stuff, you know. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to empty your cup and only take in what I say. I'm saying, well, maybe you can leave your cup at the door and I'll provide you a new cup so you can fill that new cup. Leave your cup outside of the door. It's up to you to carry those two cups when you leave. But when you enter, that cup remains there. That cup has religious information. That cup has ancient history information. That cup has the social constructs of social media nonsense. Excuse me. That cup has sports, TV shows, and movies, and all that stuff. That's inside of that cup. All the popular sayings and modern jargons and what's cool and what's everyone agreeing with, that's in that cup. Leave that cup outside. Good morning, wake up. What people say. From 5 to 7 a.m. West Coast time. That's Pacific, to be specific. That introduction is coming this summer. 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning. Then we will deal with sincere remarks and paid remarks. That is when we will deal with specific current events. Those that are important, that affect our well-being. Not what the latest singer, rapper, athlete did. Not what the latest YouTuber and whatever other YouTuber, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter comment. No, none of those things. Not a single one. The sincere remarks that are important to our species, and the paid remarks that are important to our species. Then we'll have the following day primordial biology, chemistry, physics, and philosophical, medical, and mathematical theoretical science. Also 5 to 7. Notice I am not saying what days of the week. Well, it starts this summer. You will have to know. The next day is cell phone, television, entertainment, and social curricular festivities. That is when you can take that cup that you will leave at the door before you enter Lotus Television, and you can pull out the important things in that cup. That social curricular festival cup is what you're going to get inside. But that cup on the outside, which is cell phone and television and entertainment, you're going to pull those things out and you're going to see what social curricular festivities. Okay? Now, I would give more details, but I really want everyone to come and find out for themselves. Now, I'm not trying to be popular. I'm not trying to have the final word. I'm trying to have the important words. I have no time for dilly-dallying and frolicking or any other things of laughter and being happy and politically correct. I don't care anymore. I'm done. I'm tired, fed up, and I am worthy. That's right. When you come to Lotus Television, you are going to receive information that you have not heard of, you might heard of, and you want to talk about. So, my brothers and sisters of our species, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen and watch me. Hopefully you have received some information that can and will help you in your life. I am a shade in the shadow, watching everything burn in the light. Peace.